Howdy folks, I'm Magnificent Magnesium, magically merging magnetic meteors.
I'm Amber.
And here are more magnetic meteors for us to merge with magnesium. Magnesium is very self-sacrificing. It's just willing to do that to make sure that our meteorites are merged. Thanks, Amber.
Magnesium isn't getting caught in the merger though. It's just making it's magical. It can make meteors merge.
I see. Yeah, they're making meteors merge with Earth's surface. Thanks, magnesium.
No, it's merging meteors together.
And Earth is just a giant meteor.
No.
Let's get started. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to be an Egg Donor for my brother, even though I promised years ago? My brother, Jeff, is a 35-year-old male, and I'm a 32-year-old female, and we have had a great relationship. My brother is gay, and was married to my dear friend Martin, a 34-year-old male, but they divorced 3 years ago. Jeff and Martin had known each other since kindergarten. They became best friends. They went to law school together. They dated for around 15 years and got married. Their dream was to become parents, but both wanted to be biologically related to the child, so they asked me to give them my egg, and I agreed, since I love them both and wanted them to be happy. That was it. I never got tested or anything because they didn't want a child right away, but to make sure that they had a donor and would just focus on the surrogate. For their wedding anniversary, Martin thought that it was a great idea to renovate a beach house that my parents had abandoned. Jeff thought it was a waste of time and money, but went along with it, and they contacted Ian, a 34-year-old male, an architect and a contractor. By the way, I recommended because he had done some work for my mother-in-law. Some months ago into the project, the man who thought it was a waste of time was so into architecture and the project itself. Long story short, before getting the work done, Jeff dumped Martin and got together with Ian. My brother and Martin's divorce was so fast since Martin was devastated and didn't fight much. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, Jeff and Ian got married. Yes, 3 months. My family acted as if nothing had happened and welcomed the homewrecker with open arms. My brother can do no wrong in my mom's eyes. It has been 3 years and Martin is still devastated, has many issues, and Jeff and Ian act like they hurt no one. They even started investing in real estate. I love my brother, but I try to keep my distance, and I've only exchanged like 2 words with Ian in these 3 years. 3 words at the most, because I love Martin and he is a friend. My brother approached me a couple of weeks ago telling me that he and his puppy were ready to start a family and wanted me to get tested, but I said that my promise was no longer valid since he decided to cheat and I didn't feel comfortable giving my egg, and this has turned into a more personal matter, something that has to see with my morals. He said that it's not fair, and this means so much to him, and has told me that I can't break a promise that I made. My family, even my husband, is telling me that I made a promise, and this is important for them. But I don't know if I want to do this to Martin. I mean, this was supposed to be his child. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. First of all, you can go back on a promise to give people's body parts up until it's in another person's body. Like, you are allowed to change your mind about, donating things once you get more information about this situation. Secondly, your brother has changed the terms of the agreement. You agreed to give him and Martin an egg, not him and his affair partner.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest point here, is that OP's original agreement was to give OP and her brother and Martin this egg, and that's no longer the case. And she has decided that she doesn't want to give Ian her egg, and that's perfectly reasonable. That's perfectly legitimate. They can find another egg donor.
Right. Well, his whole thing about that's not fair. You know what's not fair? Cheating on your partner of 15 years.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is that OP is far more comfortable with Martin because she's known him his whole life, and this is someone who she would be willing to give her egg to in that case, right? And so I think egg donating is a very personal thing and is going to be a thing that not everyone wants to do for every single person. So I don't know. I don't think that this is the same agreement.
No, I don't think it is either. And again, your brother did something really hurtful. He really hurt another human being, and he suffered no consequences.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Old Cheek 1076 says, not the jerk, pretty rich of your brother to be going on about broken promises. Anyways, your body, your choice. And Method 412 says, that was my first reaction. Wait, the guy who married somebody and divorced him says that you can't break a promise? Well, and then cheated too, right? Mm-hmm. And Super Dune says, he's definitely one of those people who thinks that their happiness is the only thing that matters, and no matter how many people that they've had to step on or over to achieve it, you should be supportive. And My Lady Bits says, not the jerk. Even if he was still with Martin, it's your right to withdraw consent. You don't consent. And Nojation 6181 says, you could have changed your mind for any reason, and that's your decision to make, and he should respect it. And our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Still Attending Vacation My Girlfriend Was Excluded From Due to Her Not Being Rich Enough? I would like to preface this by saying that I wouldn't consider my family particularly wealthy. I'm a 22-year-old male, and I grew up in Somerville with 3 brothers, so maybe I just say that I grew up comfortably. We've always had a nice house there for family of 6, and we just live. We don't have any yachts by any means, but we also never wanted for anything. My family typically goes on 2 yearly vacations. My favorite out of these has always been going down to the Cape. Our family friends, my best friend Matthew, parents, own a house there, so our families will drive down in late July or early August and spend a few weeks there. Some of my first tastes of freedom, independence, and coming-of-age experiences were on the Cape, allowed to roam freely with Matt. I got the okay from Matthew's parents to invite my girlfriend along, and had planned to introduce her to everyone on the trip. But after I invited her, she started acting strange. She was weirdly fixated on things, is the best way I can describe it. She was constantly talking about what celebrities had been spotted there, or how expensive the houses were there, etc. It was giving me weird vibes, so I spoke with mine and Matthew's parents, and we agreed an earlier meeting so that they could get a feel for the situation. They agreed that the vibes were weird. I don't know how much of it was influenced by her being something akin to a tourist, considering that she moved to Massachusetts 2 years ago, but it was just bizarre. Matt, in particular, was pretty put off by it, and we agreed that it would be best if she didn't come this year. The result was not a positive reaction. I told her that we overestimated the amount of space that we had and we couldn't accommodate her this year. She started talking about the plans that she and I could make instead during that week, but I clarified that I was still attending. A switch flipped after that. She basically accused us of looking down on her because she wasn't as rich as us, and that she was allowed to be excited. She also said that I never should have invited her if I just wanted more alone time with Matthew. This has left an even more sour taste in my mouth, but I figured it was good to have some outside perspective and see if I'm really being the jerk here. Am I the jerk? Edit. Someone suggested that I include this in the main post, so I would like to clarify that my girlfriend was making inappropriate comments about the price of things to Matthew's parents. It made them uncomfortable. If she had only made these comments to me, it wouldn't have been a problem. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk. You don't get to invite someone on a vacation, get them all excited, retract that invitation, and then, just have no consequences.
Well, I think that OP should have sat down with his girlfriend and been like, hey, I know you're really excited about this, but, let's not talk about the monetary aspect of it because it will make people really uncomfortable.
Right. Instead, he had this weird test. Oh, we're going to do this weird test to see if you pass their muster.
Yeah. So it just really seems like they weren't willing to work with her. They weren't willing to accept that she was slightly different and didn't have the same upbringing. And then they're just like, yeah, let's just kick her to the curb because it was just too much effort to actually get to know her and to take some time to explain that you shouldn't really talk about money. It makes people uncomfortable.
Right. At any point in time, OP, did you actually have a conversation about what was bothering you about what she said? Or did you just keep that to yourself and go to your friend and be like, hey, my girlfriend's kind of weird, so I want you to meet her first?
Yeah. Well, and then saying that to somebody, being like, hey, my girlfriend's really acting weird about this trip. I would like you guys to meet her so that you can see her weirdness too. Please tell me if she is as weird as I think she is going to totally leave the right impression on them. I mean, at the end of the day, OP, it sounds like you're more than a little well off. And I certainly understand that you don't feel rich, but most people don't get 2 vacations a year.
Mm-hmm.
Most people get like a vacation every 10 years or something like that. Like, it just isn't something that a lot of families get growing up, right? And I think that, people who are very well off don't necessarily understand how well they are. And it's kind of showing here that they don't understand that their girlfriend probably wasn't raised as well off and doesn't necessarily have the experiences that they do.
Like, I may know enough not to openly, talk about how much things cost, but, if I was at a really fancy place, you better believe I would be wondering, how did anyone afford this? What is this chandelier worth?
Yeah. And so, I mean, I can certainly understand her excitement, and I think that they just managed to douse that excitement and say, we don't want you around here. And so it's going to make her it's even harder for her to fit in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if this was like the nail in the coffin, so to speak, for this relationship.
Yeah, and I mean, the least you could do, since you effectively uninvited her, is bow out of the trip and do something else with her.
Yeah, exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Outrageously Penguin says, we're not rich. I guess we're comfortable. Every rich person on Earth, usually followed by a casual comment about summering on the Cape. You're the jerk, and you and your friends and your family are snobs. Your girlfriend was literally just excited, and you decided to exclude her over it. Hope she dumps you, and you can find yourself a preppy princess who meets your needs. And QT Cyclone says, also, I grew up in Somerville. As some important statement, 90% of the people reading this probably have no idea what Somerville is, and I certainly don't. Neither do I.
Yeah, same.
I'm assuming the Cape is Cape Cod, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure which Cape it is. There's a few Capes, and I'm like,
is Cape Cod an expensive place? I don't know. I haven't been there.
Yeah, same. I mean, I know Cape Elizabeth is fancy in Maine.
There are probably some expensive capes out there. Capes tend to be those expensive places. And Bean Fiddler says, it's an old money part of Connecticut. The median house value is around $1 million. The median. They're rich. New Zookeeper Game 9808 says, as a person from Massachusetts, I thought he meant Somerville, Massachusetts, in which case is gentrifying, but in no way a fancy rich town, so I was confused. And OP says, and this is a reply to a whichever comment thread, I'm not sure. I do live in Massachusetts. Yeah, I wouldn't consider the area to be the kind you brag about, as it's a symbol of wealth, which is what I was trying to communicate in my post. I feel lucky to have grown up there, but it's not a place where everyone is rolling in millions by any means, not at all. It was supposed to drive home the point of I grew up comfortably in a slightly large family, but not rich. But I think it's just confused people. Sorry about that. I don't think that clarifies anything because, again, we went on like 1 or 2 vacations when I was growing up as a child, and that not 2 vacations a year type of thing, right?
Yeah, we had like single day trips to Santa's Village as a kid.
Yeah. And, these weren't like fancy or exquisite vacations or trips or anything like that. And that's just like, yeah, I don't think you understand how well off you really are if you think that vacationing twice a year is like no big deal. You're comfortable. Yeah,
well, it would leave at like 5 a.m. to get to Santa's Village when it opened, and would stay until close, and then would drive back the same night. That's kind of what we did.
Yeah. And our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Wanting My Boyfriend to Cook After He Invited More People Than Planned? I am a 23-year-old female and my boyfriend is a 25-year-old male. And I were supposed to host a dinner for us and another couple that we met on vacation tomorrow. I am supposed to be in charge of the cooking. 2 days ago, before going to work, my boyfriend tells me that he forgot to tell me that he invited our neighbors and their 3 children. I was kind of annoyed that he didn't ask me first, but whatever. I said, okay, next time ask me if I'm okay with it first. After coming home from work the same day, he tells me that he invited 2 of his colleagues and that they'll come with their wives and kids. They have 1 kid each, so that'll make 2 more children. I got upset when he told me this because 1, he invited 6 more people without asking me first, again. And 2, he told me that I needed to make a different dish for his colleagues' kids because they don't like what I'm planning to cook. I told my boyfriend that he needed to be the one cooking because I didn't want to do it anymore. He asked me why I initially agreed to cook. I said I initially agreed to cook for 4 people, not 15. I added that it'll be easier for him to cook for 15 anyways because he has his whole afternoon free while I would be working until 4 p.m. My boyfriend doesn't agree though and thinks that it's unfair of me to have agreed to cook just to take it back last minute. I said that I would be okay to help with the kids' food once I come back from work, but he needed to do the rest. He doesn't want to, and even threatened to cancel the whole thing if I wasn't cooking. Am I the jerk here? Should I be the one cooking still, as I was supposed to cook from the beginning? Or is it only fair that he cooks for the additional 11 people that he invited? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Once again, he changed the terms of the agreement. You agreed to cook for 4 people, not 15. You even explicitly asked him, next time don't invite more people without consulting me. And he invites another 6 people.
Yeah, I think actions have consequences. He chose to invite more people, knowing that you had only agreed and were already annoyed at cooking for the additional people. And then he pushed that boundary even further. Well, stopped all over that boundary and said, nah, I'm not going to listen to you. You're going to cook for more people because I say so.
So just leave it to him. He can cancel it if he wants. And I know OP mentions in the comments that should feel bad about the couple missing out. So just go out to a restaurant or something with the original couple, because he also changed the situation because you were going to have an intimate dinner with this couple you met on vacation.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily agree to dine with your husband's coworkers and your neighbors and all their children.
Yeah.
So not only has he made it harder for you, he's also changed the atmosphere without letting anyone have a heads up.
Yeah, I know if someone had agreed to, if someone was like, oh, hey, Brian and Amber, you want to come over for like a small dinner on whatever day, and then suddenly there were 11 other people there, I would feel very uncomfortable about that situation. I'd be like, oh, I thought this was just going to be like 4 people.
Yeah, same. And so, yeah, you're definitely not in the wrong here, OP. And I have some serious questions about your relationship overall. Like, why does he feel like it's so okay to disrespect you so much and stomp all over your boundaries?
Yeah.
Are there other areas where he does this? And so it may be time to examine your relationship in more detail.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And TZH85 says, threatening to cancel. Girl, at this point, he should either cancel, cook himself, order food for everyone. He invited more people after you told him not to do that anymore without checking in with you first. This was deliberate. He wanted to show you who's in control, and now he's trying to make you think that you're the one being difficult. If I were you, I wouldn't come home after work. I'd go out to eat somewhere by myself or with friends and spend a nice evening while I reevaluate my relationship. Clearly not the jerk. And OP replies, I mean, I wouldn't mind the cancellation that much, but our friends already cleared their schedules for us, and I wouldn't want to seem disrespectful. And Jeeper Creeper 74 says, not the jerk. He's not considering the work involved cooking for all these extra people, so let him learn. And OP replies, I think he does realize that it's a lot of work, but he doesn't care as long as he's not the one cooking, and that's why he's upset that I want him to cook.
Yeah, but why is your partner, the person who's supposed to support you, okay with putting a massive burden on your head without consulting you?
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she's got a fancy, snobby, rich person joke for us.
No, I have a very low-class joke for us. What do you call a happy cowboy?
I can tell you exactly what you call a happy cowboy. He's a cowboy who's living comfortably in the Cape.
No, a Jolly Rancher.
A Jolly Rancher? That makes sense. That makes sense because he's living comfortable at the Cape in his $1 million ranch home.
No, we're not talking about those kind of ranchers.
And I've got Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. We've made it to the middle of the week, folks. Only a couple more days, and then we're free for the weekend again. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please make it a snobby rich person one.
This is going to be an anti-moral. Only vacation with people who have at least one gold-plated toilet. That way you know they won't ask you awkward questions about money.
I think that works. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!